Hi, everyone. Welcome once again, the high school swim fans in the state, as we bring you another installment of the State Champs Michigan Poolside Podcast. I'm the executive producer of the State Champs Sports Network. David Zulkiewski is a coach at Bloomfield Hills High School. He's also the webmaster for the Michigan Interscholastic Swim Coaches Association. We're actually recording a little earlier than we usually do, so it's good to see you dayside. David, how are you?
I'm good. Playing hooky this afternoon and saw some great results last night from some awesome meets, and happy to have Rich on board here today and looking forward to talking some fun swimming.
Absolutely. We've been very lucky to have some great coaches join us all season long here on the podcast. This week, no different. All the way from Northville High School, the head coach, Rich Bennetts, is here. Welcome to Poolside, Coach.
Thank you guys very much for having me.
All right. Fantastic. Should be a great conversation. And just so everybody understands the timelines here, because sometimes they get a little confusing as to when we record and then actually when you're actually seeing or listening to this program. The show is premiering on Wednesday, February 16th. So on the show today, Coach Z and Coach Bennetts are going to talk about the meet that State Champs covered on Thursday, February 10th between the Mustangs and Canton. Northville won that meet, and at the time of this recording, according to Swim Cloud rankings, they have the Mustangs ranked number one in the state. Now, whether that's just an algorithm based on submitted times and all that, that's all right. Northville will be a force to be reckoned with before it's all said and done this season. Let's say that. Now, the MISCA meet also took place this past weekend, from what I understand. So even though at the time of this recording, Coach, you have not participated in it, and it's already happened to those who have are checking this out now. We'll get your thoughts on going into that meet. And we're also going to pass a little advice on how swimmers can try to be at their best this time of year from a coaching perspective. Okay, all that's coming up, but first, Poolside is presented by Lawrence Technological University. LTU offers 24 varsity sports. Athletic and academic scholarships are available. Recruit yourself at ltuathletics.com. Poolside Michigan is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association. The MHSAA is looking for officials. Visit MHSAA.com for details. The Michigan Army National Guard is the official military outlet of the MHSAA. The Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Pros with the Detroit Medical Center, they sponsor Poolside. I encourage you to check out our Game Changers segments featuring terrific training tips, how to prevent injuries. Segments drop Fridays across the State Champs Network, including our State Champs TV YouTube page. And if you are in pain or if you're injured, for immediate care, go to dmc.org/game changers. You cannot get better care anywhere. Please support the companies that support high school sports. Okay, we have Northville head coach Rich Bennetts with us today. You are a man who has spent a lot of time coaching places like Meadowbrook Country Club, the Farmington YMCA, but can you talk about your love of coaching high school swimming specifically, as you've been at Northville for over 20 years?
Yeah, honestly, it all really started just from myself being lucky enough to have some really, really good coaches that kind of got me going in this direction as far as coaching kids. And I know how important high school coaches were in my development as a kid into an adult. And it was just kind of one of those things where I really wanted to see if I could make an impact on kids, especially the high school boys, to really just kind of teach them not only the ins and outs of the sport, but also I feel like the high school situation really lends itself towards a lot of life lessons. And that's just one of the things that we really try to pride ourselves on over here is being able to teach the whole kid, not just the 50 and the 100 free or whatever it happens to be that day, but really just trying to teach them about time management, about a value system, about hard work. And I've just been lucky enough in my life to be surrounded with great coaches when I was growing up. And to be able to lend a little bit of what I learned onto these kids now is just, it's a cool thing to do. So,
yeah. Now, before we let David and yourself break down the meet versus Canton, you had a 5th place finish as a team a year ago at the state finals. You had some talented seniors on that squad. What's the makeup of this year's team as you look ahead? Do you feel the squad is strong or stronger maybe than last year's team, maybe depth-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've definitely got more depth at the state meet this year than we had last year. We lost some good leaders last year. We've been able to kind of fill those gaps in with the senior class that we have this year. We've developed some freestylers along the way, and as Dave will tell you, freestyles have to meet. And if you can swim that stroke, you're gonna have a shot at it. And we're lucky enough to have a good diver this year as well. Hopefully, if he stays healthy, he'll be at the state meet, and that's really all we can hope for right now is just health and continue to swim fast and see how it all shakes out. But yeah, we're pretty deep this year in the freestyle, and we're trying to develop some back and breaststrokes so we don't have to have such a big lead going into the last relay. So that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Great. And so I don't get in the way, before we turn it over to the coaches, let me just read the rest of our sponsors as they're going to talk about the Canton meet that took place on Thursday, February 11th. So that's coming up in just a second. But Poolside's also brought to you by the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female Athlete of the Year Awards. If you are a first-team All-State athlete or projected to be, you've got good grades, represent leadership on your team, maybe in your community as well, you could be nominated, but you can't be nominated unless you apply. All you need to do is download the application at dacathleteoftheyear.com and send it in today. The deadline is to apply is March 4th, and it's going to be a beautiful red carpet gala that we will have at the Detroit Athletic Club on June 6th. I get an opportunity to host that show. It's really fantastic and a great opportunity to celebrate these kids, the seniors, one more time. One last new sponsor to the show is the Goodman Acker Law Firm. During the most difficult times of your life at Goodman Acker, you work with the same attorney and team the entire length of your case. They fight for you just like they would a member of their own family. Experienced, ethical, aggressive. Mention you heard about Goodman Acker on State Champs. They will provide you with the free assessment of your case. Goodman Acker, good decision. Call 1-800-TRUSTED. Okay, Thursday, February 10th, we had a clash in the pool in the KLAA Northville at Canton. You can watch the video clips right now on the State Champs Network. And before you guys get into it, one last thing. Can you talk, and just because State Champs has been around for 20 years and we've seen kind of the strengths of certain conferences go up and down over the years, just so maybe our audience has a good understanding about the competition level between teams now in the KLAA in boys swimming. Is the sport healthy and strong since you've seen so many generations over the past couple of decades?
Yeah, I mean, since we moved over to the KLAA, which was back about 12 years ago now, broke up into 2 divisions of 8. And, we've really got a lot of depth in this conference. Novi is good year in and year out. Brighton and Salem are both on a major upswing now. Lamonia Stevenson shows up every now and then and with a really good team. So I feel like the depth of our conference is really competitive within the state, especially at the Division I level. So I think by and large, we got numbers. We have a little bit of a participation issue on the east side, or the East Division, I should say. But by and large, overall, I think we're a pretty strong conference and can compete with everything that everybody else has.
Cool. And considering everything we've been through, that's a good thing. All right, David, take it away.
Yeah, so, Rich, you guys had a pretty dominant win last night. You mentioned just a few minutes ago that you're pretty strong in that freestyle, and we've seen that all year. You guys have either the first or second fastest time in the 200 free and the 400 free relay. Last night you guys popped off a pretty quick 200 medley time. Did you play around with the lineup a little bit, switch the order up in the relays? How'd you approach things last night to start the meet?
Yeah, so we moved things around quite a bit last night. Our guys have been kind of bugging me to do a medley relay, so we let those 4 guys have at it, and they were fortunate enough to swim pretty well. And I actually got a pool record over there for the medley relay, which was kind of cool to start the meet off with. And then we were able to mix some of our younger guys in some of the individual events this week, which was good to see and nice to see some of the young guys start to contribute.
Nice. We've talked to quite a few coaches the last few weeks, and as our listeners out there are starting to learn a little bit more, you get a 1-2 finish in those relays. It's a big point boost, and then you jump into that 200 freestyle there last night right away. Same thing, first individual event, you guys go 1-2. I've got Noah Eckenroth and Ryan Seidelman pop off a 1-2 finish for you. How are those times for those guys, and is that a primary event for them? You mentioned you swam off a little bit. How did those guys do, and what do those events look like for the end of the season for them?
So they did all right as far as, a February dual meet is concerned. The effort level was where it needed to be. Their times were a little off. We had our county meet last weekend over at Trenton. Trenton's got a brand new pool over there. It was amazing. It was a great time for everybody, but we had that Wayne County Championship, so they were a little off of that. But Seidelman, his older brother swam for me and did a great job in the same two events, as a matter of fact, that Ryan's in right now. So he's got a lot to live up to, but he's really starting to come around, and we're real happy and excited about what he can do. He's only a sophomore, so he's still got a couple of years left. And he was 159 last night, but he was 154 at the county meet. So real excited about that. And Noah kind of swims all the freestyle events, and so he was he was actually 146 with a suit on last week, and so he was a little off of that, but still a great way to start off the meet with a couple of 1-2 finishes, like you said.
Yeah, on a personal note, it was fun seeing the Seidelman name pop up. His uncle was a great swimmer out of Salem, swam with me at Eastern. Actually lived with him for a while, so it was exciting to see that next generation coming up, and certainly a great family. So, 200 IM. Does he go by Leonardo or Leo? Had a really good time in that.
Leo.
He's grabbed a state cut. Leo, okay. Now he's a sprinter though. I mean, he's a 50 and 100 guy. How's that IM for him, and something new for him, or do you guys move that around, try that event a little bit?
This was a new event for Leo, and he really enjoyed the first 50 fly because he went out in a 25. And by the breaststroke, I think he was really wishing that I hadn't put him in it. But he did manage to finish. And we were fortunate enough to get another 1-2 finish. Ethan George, who he just touched out, that was his season best time, which for swimming in a Speedo with no special suit on. It was a good swim for him, and he's a senior this year as well, so he's really looking to finish up strong, and we're excited about him possibly getting a couple of state cuts to join our state meet team. So it was a good swim from Ethan.
That's excellent. And moving into diving, Andy is it Mace? Had really good performance for you guys. Right now he's sitting top 20. He was with you guys at state meet a couple years ago. How's he looking? Getting ready for that 11 dive list, getting ready for regionals, those type of things.
Yeah, he's just been improving week to week. He's been you can tell he's really dialed in. He knows it's his senior year. He was unfortunately he was a COVID casualty last year at the state meet. We weren't able to bring him. And, obviously cost us top 8 points, which was, if you remember last year at the Division I meet, second, third, and fourth was all decided by about 10, 12 points. And we seem to be really good at finishing fifth. So we're trying to rectify that this year. And bringing him along for the ride this year should hopefully help us accomplish that.
Nice. Canton gets in there with some good swims. Don't want to discredit all the hard work those guys are putting in over there. Ryan Gergel picks up 2 wins. He wins the 50. You guys go into the diving break, and he comes out and he wins the fly as well. Grab 2 good finishes there. And then help me out. You got Philip Zakharakov. This kid's a 500.
Zoronikov. Yes,
Zoronikov. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. This kid's a 500 freestyler and pops off a great second place finish for you guys in the fly. So, getting out of that diving break, how are the guys responding to some different events last night? How are they swimming?
Yeah, I think they all enjoyed swimming the different events. Sometimes, as in swimming, if you've got a lot of close meets back to back to back, you're kind of locked into what your best lineup is. And so to be able to get them to enjoy themselves and have a little fun with some different events. Although Ryan cleaned his clock pretty good, Gergel's a really good swimmer. Canton's got a couple of really good ones, and they always swim very well at the end of the year. So I know that they're kind of looking towards that end of the year too, and they'll be strong at our league meet. But Philip he's just an all-around swimmer. He actually last year at the state meet, he actually did do the 200 IM and went 200, and then I kind of had to have a conversation with him and realizing that he's got maybe some slow twitch muscles that he's going to have to continue to go the 500 for us. And he's embraced it, and, he's done really well. I know he swims the mile for his club team. And he's a really, really hard worker, and he earns everything he gets. And he's a good kid, and we're just hoping to put it all together March 11th.
Yeah, for sure. The strength of your freestyle, you can see it. Evan swims at 100 free and wins last night. He's one of the top 10 freestylers in the state. A little bit slower than what he was at county meet. A few days ago, you said, the guys had the suits and stuff, and I'm sure, a little bit different feel at county meet, but got to be nice to be, just within a few tenths of his 100 free time from the weekend, going again, like you said, in the middle of a week on a February, when we probably haven't seen the sun in a few weeks. He's got to be feeling good to see those times in a dual meet.
Yeah, I think that was one of the big takeaways with the relays that we were able to put together, and then a couple of the guys that did swim their events. They were actually closer to their suited up times than I thought they would be, which is actually a big positive. And Evan was excited because he broke Canton's pool record in the 100 free. So anytime you can get your name up on a board is always a cool experience. And so he was excited about that. And Mason New, who's another senior who really no one's heard of. He went 53 last week in the 100 free, and he's kind of right on the verge of making our league meet roster, which would be awesome for him and a great way to finish his swimming career. So we had some other guys that stepped up too, but Evan 47 flat is pretty good for a Tuesday night.
For sure. You had mentioned at the beginning of the show that you're looking for some backstrokers and breaststrokers going into league meet and state meets, so you don't have to rely on or have to build a big lead. Talk to us about those last two individual events. You've got the solid freestyle relays, but what about those last two individual events?
Yeah, so we're working with a couple of guys. Ison Chow, who's actually a move-in from Ohio. He's a sophomore. He's a very talented kid. Just trying to work on his explosiveness, work on his underwaters. Austin Waller's another kid that's been with us for 3 years, and so those guys are 54 and 55 respectively right now. And they know that there's another jump that needs to be made, and hopefully we can make it at the right time and get those top 16 finishes at state meet, because we're really, any points that we can get in those two events is going to help us a lot. And moving down to the breaststroke, Willie Tang, he is our breaststroker, right? So we don't necessarily have a B plan when it comes to the breaststroke. He's our guy. Ethan George is another guy that usually swims the breaststroke, and he's done pretty well for us. He's hoping to get his state cut. And Jacob Mowers is another guy who does a little bit of everything, but he's kind of fallen in love with the breaststroke this year, which is great because we can use all the breaststroke help we can get. And looking for those three guys to possibly get their cuts. And if you get to state meet, you got a lane, you got a chance. So we're just we're hoping to get those guys there, and then if they can find it on that day, who knows? For sure.
So you wrap up last night with a good KLA meet. What have you got left? Obviously, league meet's about 2 weeks out. Where are you guys at training wise? And
was I right? Was the Miska meet this weekend? Was I wrong on that?
It's coming up.
It's coming up. Okay.
So
it's tomorrow. Yeah, right. Right. That's right. Right. I should take my own advice. You're right. This airs on Wednesday. The Miska meet, because I just glanced at the schedule, it said it was scheduled for this past weekend, which would have been the 11th.
Yep. So where are you guys at then, Rich, with racing? You got Miska coming up here, and then dual meets and stuff before league meet.
Right. So with the Miska meet right now, the guys that are still going for state cuts will be going to that meet for us. Our guys that already have all their state cuts out of the way, and they're kind of focused on training only right now, and so they won't be making the trip out to Jenison. But we've got 10 guys that will be making the trip, and we're hoping to get some more state cuts out of those guys. Then we've got our senior night, which is our last dual meet against Heartland. That'll be here at Northville, and we'll have a chance to honor our seniors. We got a lot of them this year. I got 11 seniors this year. So it'll be kind of a bittersweet day, just kind of sending those guys off. But we got a lot of work to do before we officially say goodbye to them. And then after that Heartland meet, it's just going to be the KLAA meet and then state meet. So we're just our state meet guys right now are embracing. What do they say? They're embracing the suck as they just go through the motions of hard work and really going through some hard practices and stuff. And they'll come out the other side, and then I'll start seeing some smiles, and the energy level starts to go up, and those are always fun practices to coach because the guys are getting excited about the big meets.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to transition over to some of the training questions here now, but you done with mornings? Half the team done with mornings? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, so our league meet guys are now done with mornings. They're always very happy to hear. I usually wait till the end of the morning practice to let them know they don't have to show up the next day, and they're pretty excited about that. State meet guys are still in it. We'll still be going probably 2 more weeks with them. Probably we may even go through the end of February with those guys, and then we'll start resting them up as well.
So everybody's got a little different approach on yardage, all that kind of stuff. Where are you at? You going 5 mornings a week all season, and now because you said you might hold on till the end of February. That would be about 2 weeks out of state meet for those guys. Are those yardage mornings? You lifting weights, those type of things? Where are you at?
So we go 3 mornings a week. We run Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Monday is all swim. We do a full swim practice on Monday morning. Tuesday is all dry land. We're in the weight room, and then one of the things that I stumbled onto, I have a fantastic assistant coach, Ashley Garinger, who's really involved in the weight training and all the dry land side of things. And she started my guys on yoga probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and they all thought it was like this big joke. Oh, this yoga stuff's gonna. And after the first 3 weeks when she was running that class, I had guys literally crawling back to the pool because she just buried them on that. And I'll tell you what, it has paid dividends. I can tell a big difference in the pool with flexibility, with getting off the blocks quicker. The turns have improved. The underwaters have improved because of the hip extension. It's just been it's been great. So we do that on Tuesdays, and then Thursdays we lift heavy, and then get in the pool and kind of swim out a little bit. So not a ton of swimming, but Mondays are what I would call our big yardage day.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I think that's great advice too. And that's kind of what is fun about this show is we can kind of get different perspectives on different training techniques and new things that maybe coaches can add to a regime. I think yoga makes perfect sense, especially at this time of year. What are your thoughts on? And Dave, also weigh in. You talked a little about weight training. Seems like you're still doing that. Is there a point where, when it comes specifically to weight training, and I know you assist on the girls' side too, where you stop that, in terms of, or do you do it right up until state meet, end of the season?
So as far as our program goes, we usually stop pretty much everything. I would say 10 to 14 days out of the big meet is when we kind of just completely get out of the weight room. We do kind of taper the weight room down, probably the 10 days before. So we really have about a full 3-week program where we kind of bring it down gradually. And, it's a lot of it is just taking care of the mental side of things and making sure they're in a good frame of mind. And, telling them it'll work. And then from a coaching side, hope it works.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. We're similar, with the girls. I haven't done the weight room in a few years, but we're on the pool deck doing a circuit. We do med balls, stretch cords, a lot of jumps, hops, body weight type stuff, pull-ups. But same thing, 10 to 14 days out, we start backing it down. I think sometimes you find those athletes, even some of the boys that, if you stop lifting, they start losing that muscle mass kind of quick. So you do have to watch a little bit, but like Rich, like you were saying, they got to believe in what they're doing. You got to make them feel good, like they drank the magic potion, and they'll be fine with those 2 weeks. Let those muscles grow a little bit and let the body rest. So, yeah, that's what we do. So,
yeah, I mean, it's all about trying to get them to be able to maximize their performance at the most important time of the year, which is always at the end. And that's what they're going to remember. And just one last thing, just regarding, and I don't know if you get involved with this, on the nutrition side, the eating side, is that something you really stress with them on how to, control that? Or is there specific schedules that you try to put them on in terms of what they're putting in their body?
Yeah, I mean, as far as what we do, we really try to keep it simple here. These are high school boys. And you can talk a lot about what you're supposed to be doing, and most of the time, I have a high school boy at home, so and they don't, they do what they're going to do. But what I try to just stress to them, especially when the calendar turns to February, is that it's really important that you hydrate yourself with water. You really want to lay off fast food. You want to lay off potato chips. You want to lay off pop. Those are 3 things that can really have a negative effect on your performance. And I just think that you got to let the kids be kids, but at the same point in time, you're focused on rest, eating healthy. I'm not necessarily concerned about percentages as far as protein and carb loading and things like that. But if you're just eating a well-balanced diet, getting rest, and drinking water, that's going to put you ahead of the game.
Good deal.
Yeah, we're the same. When I start to see the Starbucks or the power drinks and stuff coming in, we have a little conversation, but the kids just need the carbs. We try to, fill them up. You do the post-meet meals and stuff like that. Breakfasts, a couple days a week. I know our boys team does that. There's a breakfast on Wednesday mornings to get them filled up before they go to school. But yeah, hydration's big. You've seen the chocolate milk craze go around a little bit, but yeah, we same thing. Keep it simple. Make sure you're eating. Make sure your body's filled up and that you're staying hydrated all day. So, that's what you got to do with the high school kids. Like you said, they're going to do what they want to do, and I can't control. I'm not going to stand at the lunch line and help them pick food. So
right, exactly. Or walk by and pull something off their plate. Yeah, exactly. They're going to find a way if they're into it. So, Coach, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for taking some time today. This has been another great show. David and I will be back next week, and we'll actually be talking with a doctor next week. We'll be welcoming in the Detroit Medical Center doctor, Dr. Chase Ansock. He's going to have all the info you need to rehab and deal with what they call swimmer's shoulder. I'm sure something you guys are familiar with. Shoulder injuries and strengthening will be the topic of next week's show. Remember, you can either watch or listen to the Poolside Podcast. The video is uploaded weekly on our website, social media, and our State Champs TV YouTube channel, or you can just listen to the audio podcast by going to any platform of your choice, whether it's Apple or SoundCloud or Spotify, any platform you prefer. The show's uploaded on Wednesdays. We just want to thank one more time our sponsors, LTU, the Michigan High School Athletic Association, DMC Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy Team, the DAC Foundation's Male and Female Athlete of the Year Awards, the Michigan Army National Guard, and the Goodman Acker Law Firm. We thank Northville head coach Rich Bennetts for joining us again. And for David, I'm Lorne. We'll see you next Wednesday with another edition of State Champs Michigan's Poolside Podcast. Be well.